This video is going to be on how to cut a food log for your pet. This is a food log. Happy Howie's. A lot of people use these, or you can buy other brands. So what you need to do, get yourself a knife and cut off a little slice over there. I know that you can, there are videos online, you can go buy a food dicer. The dog's running in here. She knows, she smells the Happy Howie. We just did training today, and she ate a ton of this stuff. And the belly is showing it. So, very good for training. I brought my own treats, but they provide Happy Howies there. Ow, almost sliced my finger. Don't do what I just did. Okay, so, let me get that knife out of the way. So pull off the skin, the coating, the cover, the wrapping, whatever you want to call it. There it is. So you got this nice big hunk of meat over here. Now, a lot of videos show, don't do this, go buy one of the dicers. And I might buy one of the dicers, but what I want to do is I want to try and see if it's easy to do this without buying one of those. So what I'm going to do is slice this in half. And this knife is a knife for watermelon, but it's one of the best knives that I have ever owned. It's great. I use it for everything. So this is a test to see how does it work. I have a small dog. I'll show her on the camera in a little bit, but what I want to do is I want to have really narrow slices. She's just going wild now. I want to have really small slices. When I'm in training, they've got really big pieces for an average dog, and she's a small dog, and it doesn't even matter the size. You want the smallest size treat you can give them so that you can train over and over and over again and they don't put on a massive amount of weight. So this was in the refrigerator. This was not frozen. Some people talk about it's got to be a certain temperature. And I'm just going to hold on to this thing and see how we do if we get a nice cut with the watermelon knife. I want it to be thin enough. See, that's even kind of thick. I'd like to have it a little thinner. And I had a meat slicer that I threw out, because that would have come in handy here. See, these are much better. You can, over there, you can see how it's narrow and then it gets a little wider. It's getting wider as I cut it. I don't know why. So let's try to make this straight. So I see these videos how to cut this stuff, and they are using a really fast pace, and they're trying to show how amazing they are and how they can slice it, and then it doesn't matter if you slice. What they do is they get a whole bunch of these, and then they turn it over and they stack it up and they slice it, and they're just really fancy. Well, the average person like you and I, let's face it, we're average. We're not really cool like those YouTube stars that have billions of views on those videos. We're just going to use a knife and slice. Now, the reason that I like using this watermelon knife is it's so sharp and it's so good. And I could probably press down and slice and just press down like the sharp blades. But with this thing, you do a little bit of sawing, not too much. And the cuts are nice. I'm not worried about slicing my finger off with this thing, even though it's very sharp. I have a lot of control holding the blade, and so I'm happy with what I'm getting so far. I'm getting really narrow strips, narrow slices. I'm not sure how it's going to work as I get... Oh, that was really narrow. I'm definitely on an angle. There's no doubt I'm not going straight down. I can see that. And that's how I'm holding it, holding the knife. God, look at how nice these are coming out. Considering I'm not a chef. Well, getting a message on the internet. Am I famous? No. So if you like my videos, do a thumbs up, a subscribe, or a like. Now I'm just pressing down. I did a review on this watermelon knife that I picked up on the Big A. This thing is awesome. Just going to hold it straight now. Be really careful as I am getting towards the edge. It's a really good knife, and who in the world would think to use a watermelon knife to cut your meat for your dog? Ow, whoa, be careful there. Okay, so, and this is only half of the roll. Now what these guys do on the internet, then they grab a chunk of it and they go, bah, 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 I'm going to slice it this way and slice it this way and dice it this way and I'm really cool and you can do this in 2 seconds. No. Don't be lame. Please don't be lame. Don't be a fool. Don't be a fool. Okay. So, and then all these fancy, antsy people, they go in there and they slice it in half and then they go, da, 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 da. Nah, you don't want to be like that in life. You just want to be yourself. You want to be normal. Okay, so, I've got that out of the way. And I was thinking of buying one of those dicers, but, you know, when you love your dog, you want to just do things for the dog. You want to do things for them. So, tiny little pieces. This might even be a little too big. Might be a little too big. So let me go in there. How did that come out? I really want to give her a treat because she's going nuts over there. Alright, so I'm going to make another slice over here. So I want to be able to train her a lot now that we're back into training again and we're getting serious about this. She ate so many treats this morning, so much of this meat roll. Now I'm going to turn it this way and we'll see if I can get a nice little dice. She ate so much of this that her belly bloated out from all the food, and I'm trying to work on helping her lose a couple pounds. So I was overfeeding her. Like a lot of us owners, we don't measure the calories and you just overfeed. Next thing you know, they're big. Oh, this is coming out really nice. I'm happy. I'm really happy with this. I'm getting nice small pieces now, and that's what I want. And it might be a little faster with a dicer. You always want to have a clean area, so let me get some of my meat out of the way. Okay, I've removed my meat from the plate. The dog's meat, the dog's treats. No meat, no treat. Okay, so what is another way I could do this? Some of them do it with everything flat so that it doesn't roll. Let's try that. I don't even know if I like that right now because it's going to be really hard to dice it. The other way was better. Alright, the poor dog. I'm going to give her a treat. Yeah, these are coming out much bigger. So I don't like the going... Ow! Don't cut yourself with a watermelon knife. I'm going to give her a piece of treat over there. Good girl. You're my girl. Yes, you are. Okay, so I didn't like that idea. Now I'm going to struggle to dice this. It was easier the way I did it the first time. Slice it in half. So now I've got much bigger pieces, which I'm not happy about. I'm going to get rid of the big knife right now to dice this thing up because I don't like that idea that I just did. Don't do that. Don't do what I just did. Where's the blade? Okay, there's the blade. Okay, so I'm able to recover either way. Get some nice slices. And maybe having a dicing thing might work. The thing that kind of worried me as I was looking at the comments on there, and people were saying, be really careful. The plastic broke off into the food. Others were saying the blades were so sharp they nicked their fingers really bad while they were being careful. Others said they were very difficult to clean. And others were happy with it. So, personal preference. I bought the Happy Howies. I bought it on the Big A two 2-pound rolls for about 25. And the thing is, in training, the pieces, most of the pieces are like this. This is huge. And feeding her, the class goes for an hour, so feeding for an hour, she takes in an incredible amount of calories. She eats a fairly good diet of good quality meat. I mean, not meat, what is it, freeze-dried? Air-dried, I think it's air-dried, healthy food, really expensive, but like my vet said, spend the money on food, good food, or spend the money for vet appointments. Okay, so it's not coming out too bad. I'm going to try this with a little smaller stack over here to see how it works. It might be easier to do. Use a smaller knife. I think this is just going to make it even harder. Now I'm going to have to do more dicing. But even if you have the big dog, make these things small. So this is working out okay. It's a hassle. Now, if you work in a rescue place like where I got the dog, there's no way you can spend the whole day messing around like I am. You have to come up with a better technique. See, this is a big mess. The first way that I did it was much better. This is a huge mess. But, you know, it's life. And you can take the time and do this and just relax. Everybody says they're always so busy, there's no time to do anything, and then they go and they play on the cell phone for hours, and they sit there all night long and watch TV and movies and listen to junk music. So, you know, you got more than enough time in your life, believe me. Almost everybody out there is wasting tons of time every day doing nothing. So take some time and cut your meat for your dog. Okay, this is not that bad. This is working out okay also. Maybe I want these pieces a little bigger, but I want to be able to really train her a lot. And she's a tiny dog, as I said. And I don't want to keep giving her massive amounts of treats. So that is the whole point of, if you buy those dicers, they cut them into like 1/8 pieces or 3/8, not 1/8, I think it's a 1/4 or 3/8. That's still pretty big for a small dog. So this is working out fairly nicely. These knives are not exceptionally sharp, but they're going to serve their purpose. I got a few strips that I haven't completely cut through, but that's okay. So something like this, I'm trying to look at the camera to see how long I'm running out of batteries. Oh boy, I'm making too many videos. Let's try it a different way and let's see what we come up with. Let's go in and I'm going to slice this whole thing. I'm going to slice my meat going down the center. See if I can, I'm going to slice my meat this way. See how this works. That's still pretty big. It's narrower at the top and wider at the bottom because I'm angling the knife. So if I was not using this watermelon knife, I'd be really worried about hurting myself. Now with this, I think I'm going to go over this way because it's starting to get dangerous-o. So a suggestion for cutting your dog treats, your meat rolls, making your meat smaller, I would consider buying this watermelon knife, which is just the coolest knife out there, at least for me. Now that came out pretty small, but I've got a massive amount of dicing to do here. Just a lot of dicing. And don't they make a vacuum? Alright. Well, these are even smaller, I think. Oh my god, these are really tiny. So So I'm trying different ways. And that is what you want to do when you're slicing your meat roe, is try different ways to figure out, okay, now I'm able to just go down there and dice. And some of these pieces are really big. But I don't have a cutting board here. I don't have a, that would help. I don't have a cutting board. I've got some big pieces here. But you want your Happy Howies to be small pieces. And I'm just going to do half the roll. I don't have enough battery power to do the whole roll. And so I'm sure this is going to help somebody out. It'll save you $20 on a dicer, or it might make you want to buy the dicer instead. I don't know. The first time I bought this roll, I was like, I don't want to deal with this. But when I see how much food she takes in, not dicing it the right way, yeah, I want to deal with it. Because I want to be able to train her a lot every day. So, how are we doing on the battery? Well, we got another few minutes. Make sure you leave comments, good comments, not mean comments. Always report those mean comments. Make sure you leave some good comments about how you trim your meat roe for the dog. And so this is not as easy because I am doing a lot of the time now. But boy, I'm happy I'm doing this. I'm seeing this. There is just a lot. These pieces are way too big. The last section, I'm gonna do it the way I did the first one. We'll see if that works any better. This is just really the way to do it. Spend the time and get these pieces small enough so that you can train and treat over and over and over without making them sick or turning them into a porky machine. That's what I always tell my dog. I always say, you're a porky machine, you're a cow, you're a moose, you're a horse. And then she bites my hand. Yeah, I like this. I like the idea of taking the time to do this. If you have any suggestions on a better way to do this without buying a dicer. But the videos, as I said, they look really good. How they slice them, they do everything on the flat edge, and they get it done in 2 seconds. But unless you do stuff like that every day, most of those videos, they look really great. I do a lot of how-to videos, and I spend a lot of time zooming in, trying to make it a good lighting and informative, but I watch a lot of how-to videos, and they tell you how to do stuff, and they're either clueless or they do this every day and they're experts and they show you how to do it, and it's so easy for them but not for anybody else. So for me, this isn't that bad. I don't know how long I've spent on this, maybe a couple hours this video is. And this meat is cutting really nicely. I didn't realize, well, I don't think these knives are that good. They're not bad, but I didn't think they were that good. So the meat is kind of soft and it's dicing up really nice. Okay, I don't even have to cut. I can just go in here and do a little dice. If I had a cleaver, I bought a cleaver. I don't know where it's at. I gave it to my mom. She said she gave it back to me. I said I gave it to her. She said she gave it to me. And it's missing. It's like a couple weeks ago I bought a window shade for the car, 2 bottles of wax and some mirrors, and left it on my mom's table, and she said that I took it, and I said, nope, you must have thrown it out. And she said, nope, you've got it. And I said, nope, you've got it. So if I had my cleaver, I could probably crush this meat, or dice this meat in 2 seconds. But I like using this little knife, and I also like using the watermelon thing. So that's a nice big piece, way too big. So I'm going to give this over to the dog. I'll show you the dog in 2 seconds before the battery runs out. And so this is working out really nice. You know, I think this is good. I think what I'll do is I'll take the other half a roll and I'll put it in a bag and I'll keep it in the freezer. Look at the amount of treats I've got out of this thing. And that's, sadly to say, this is not a lot, because in dog training, when you're giving them these treats every couple seconds for 45 minutes, it's way too much. I might even dice these down a little bit smaller. So, thanks for watching. What I want to do is I want to unhook this thing. That's my rescue dog. Let's see if she knows how to do what we did this morning. Down. Good girl. Stay. Good girl. Good girl. I'm not doing the clicker now, and she's still doing really well, just with signals. Thanks for watching, everybody. Okay, look at the camera. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. Come on. No treats. Just say goodbye. Say goodbye. Come on. Good girl. I love you. Yes, I do.